Are you confident about your business? Are you sure that there is nothing which is going to affect your business? Are you in the starting stage of your business? If you're thinking about your business so much, I'm very sure that you're going to even think about the flaws that are going to happen in the business. But I'm very sure there are a couple of things that we do not think ahead, because sometimes that might cause us to overthink, or sometimes that might actually cause us to failure. At the end, what result we're going to get is actually stress. But most of the time, people will always think about once they fail, they have to get up and go. And that's where you're going to even think about how to go ahead when you have your own new startup. And also, this is after what has happened in the past, which is actually called as starting over. In this video, I'm going to be telling you about the best ways that you can start over when it comes to a particular business and the best tips that you can actually consider and take. I'm Vasha Renukumar. Welcome to the Freedom Business English channel. Do not forget to subscribe and download our Freedom app. When it comes to particular ways of starting a business, it's actually in your mind in the first place itself. But what happens when you don't actually click in that business, and over time what happens is that you have to start over. Sometimes when we make mistakes, we are not that confident for the second one. But that is where you play a major role and your mind plays a major role. There are a couple of things that you have to actually accept and move on. That is where I'll be giving you these tips that you have to for sure consider, because this is gonna definitely help you start over again when you've already failed. First step is that accept your past. It's always important for an individual to accept what has happened. Most of them end up doing that mistake because it's hard for so many of them to accept what has happened. That might be a huge loss, that might actually affect what has actually happened to a mental state itself. And sometimes we feel it easier to just leave and go. There is where you're actually making a mistake. We all know that it's easy to fail. Do you have the guts to actually come back and face the next challenges? Because there is where you stand, and there is where your bold, brave self stands. But to determine if you're bold or brave, you have to understand what is the first step when it comes to the past. You have to accept it. You have to acknowledge the way you ended up like that and tell yourself that you have to keep going. Because today, if you have a full stop, there is no continuation to the story. There is where you always have to learn from a couple of things, like keep swimming. You will have to go with the flow, because life always gives you challenges only when it thinks that you are capable of facing it. There is where you have to learn and make sure that you accept the past, because there are so many things that would have happened to us that would actually affect us. But make sure that you keep going ahead with it. Next one is identify your actual goal. Why I'm saying you this is because previously in your business, somewhere you would have made a mistake by understanding your actual goal, then thinking that which way are you being led on to. There is where you make mistakes, because sometimes you have to analyze what you actually want. Sit and list down what is the most important thing you started this business for and what is its purpose, and then you will be able to figure out what is your actual goal. And once you have that strong goal set, it's easier to flow through the business, at least in the initial stages. And when it comes to starting over, you have to make sure that your actual end goal is being followed, because over time when we start business, things go on in a different way that we don't know which direction that we have been led on to. That is where you make sure that you stick on to your actual goal, because it's easier that way. Next one is find out what works for you. When it comes to the topic of thinking about how your business is running, you're going to figure out ways to manage it. But think what actually works for you as an entrepreneur. Think that what are the ways that you have to communicate and bond with your employees so that they understand what you're trying to focus on the business and they also do the same. So first thing is that you have to understand what works for you. You have to come up with a couple of plans. Also execute this in front of all of your subordinates and tell them this is what you're expecting. They're also going to give you their inputs of the way that they're also expecting this particular mission to work, and you all can come on the common terms and basis when it comes to understanding how you want the entire plan to be executed. You have to work as a team, because team building is more important. One man cannot run the entire ship. There is where you stand as a captain working with the entire crew. There is where you have to figure out what does the captain actually need and what are the best routes that he or she can take so that the rest of the crew can go along with it. First, focus on what you need and then focus on what the business actually has for you to follow the entire thing. And over the time, people are going to come up with most of the ideas, and people are also going to put in their input so that this ship keeps on sailing. This is the most important thing as a business owner. You have to stand in there like a captain and make sure that every advice has been considered and also followed, so that you can also understand what your focus is on or what you can make changes about the business. Next one is let your comfort zone go. Yes, when it is business, you have to let go of your comfort zone, because sometimes you might have sleepless nights, sometimes you might actually go through so much of tension or pressure at once that you might actually not expect. Uncertain situations keep on coming and you might actually fall in debt traps if you don't focus on yourself. You have to let go of a lot of things when it comes to comfort, and also make sure that you're focused on one particular thing, because when it comes to second time chance and when it comes to starting over, this is where you have to focus more, because you cannot keep failing and failing over time. You have to keep understanding, yes, once I failed, once I made a mistake, and I deserve a second chance. Second chance is always the most important chance, because you would have learned so much in the past that you have to let go of the couple of mistakes that you did and also get out of that comfort zone and make sure that you have been going through the path that you have determined. Initially, this might actually be difficult, but over time, it's going to get easier and easier, because once you happen to focus on a couple of things, there is where things get easier for you, because comfort zone only comes when you feel everything is difficult around you. And if you happen to make things easy around you, there is no comfort zone and you will get used to the way that you actually happen to live. Next one is encourage yourself. When I tell you this, you always deserve a pat on your back as well. You have to understand that over time, when you're working too hard, you also need encouragement. You also need motivation, because no matter how powerful of a person you are, at the end, you need emotional support. You need someone to keep telling you that no matter what, we are going to support you. That is where you build the right bond. Bond is so important, because encouragement just cannot come out from yourself. You also need external encouragement when it comes to people also believing in you. And you have to keep on getting yourself motivated, because if you stop today, the people even working for you will stop and they will not know what to do, because you are their owner and you are their inspiration. They will also trust you, because randomly people will not come up to you and say that I am interested in working in this place because I can see this future. You have to make sure that you are giving them a bright future, and even if you think that you have stumbled over an obstacle, remember that you have to keep going by encouraging yourself. Give yourself a good pat on your back and keep yourself going, because that push you give that day to yourself can actually put you on the throne someday, because you never know how much working hard can give you great results. That is where you have to encourage yourself. If you have done something really good that you couldn't believe that you could do it, also make sure that you are being inspired of your own work, rather than thinking that this was not my cup of tea but I ended up doing by luck. Luck can only favor you when it comes to the way you think about your business, or if this business is gonna work for you. But whatever you do or whatever you've worked hard for is the main result. That thing might actually push you to the throne of success. So always remember to encourage yourself, rather than putting yourself down that somebody else did this for you or some luck helped you do this, rather than you not doing it for yourself. Make sure that you think about yourself, love yourself, also have self-awareness when it comes to unwanted things. Make sure that you're determined and focused on your business. Next one is that set new goals. I'm very sure when you start off itself, you would have actually had focused goals, but setting new goals after each success is most important. Like I keep telling even in my previous videos, there is just no one end which is called as success. Success keeps on coming. There is no end towards it. It always depends on you and the way you run your entire business. And if you think that you are more capable of it, your success will keep coming over and over like waves in an ocean, and you have to make sure that you keep enjoying each and every wave. And that is where this helps you keep setting new goals, keep setting what is most important to you, and keep thinking, because new ideas keep on growing, and upgrade yourself, get adjusted to the present trend, and understand what is happening at each stage of your business, because each stage is the most critical and important stage. Just because you've gone through the success one time doesn't mean that you have to stop. Keep going, keep pushing yourself, because those are going to make you reach in such a place that one day you don't have to sit and think and just relax. That is the most important thing. Wait for the day that you have to relax by working hard today. There is where these new set of goals help you for. And if you think I have given you enough information and enough encouragement when it comes to starting off or starting over, do not forget to like, share and comment. Also download our Freedom app, because this app is actually going to introduce you to a lot of mentors who had actually thought that stopping in the first phase was not their actual way of going ahead with life, and the way that they have started over. This can also act like a guidelines and an inspirational story if you're also thinking of starting over. And also we have courses on business and marketing, where live mentors tell you about the challenges they faced and the investment and the expenses that they have when it comes to their business. And also business is supported by financial backbone. We even have courses on that. And if you're thinking about investment in stock market, you get to learn a vast knowledge when it comes to that. And moving on to the part of organic farming, we even have courses on agro-based industry, where you can learn more and more about starting a particular business even on that. We have more than 1500 mentors teaching you all over about how they started their business and how even you can start. Download it right away. And that is a wrap on this video. Thank you so much. Get wise and break free.